question is, what techniques help you prepare for a sales call? And Dave, if you want to start that one, we'll go there.
I really like being at the end, Paula, but
because you said that I had to do that, so
I think preparing for a sales call, when we are doing a B2B sales call, we're going out to a college or a university or an airline and proposing getting involved with their training or helping them. It's important to us to understand a little bit of research about who they are, what they are. I like to understand their core values. I like to understand what their mission statement is. But much beyond that, I really want them to talk to me. And so the preparation is a little bit of calming my own anxieties or excitement about talking to them, and just allowing myself, there's a great book out called Getting Naked with Your Customers. And I think that figuratively, that's really what we want to do. I want to listen to what their problems are, what their concerns are, and reflect and pause and try to help them guide the decision really that they have to make. I can't make that decision for them.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. And I do want to remind you, this is a family show, so, but that actually is a good book. I really like that one. Mike Ryan, if you wouldn't mind going next.
I will tell you that if you're preparing to make a sales call on the telephone, the single most important thing you need to do before you pick up the telephone is to prepare your voicemail message. I'm sure if we weren't muted, I could hear everyone laughing.
Well, you'd hear a lot of jaws opening, a lot of...
The reality is that at least half the time, you will not be talking to the person you're calling. And I don't mean just a cold call. Even if they're expecting your call, you're not going to get through to them. So I would say the best thing you can do is prepare a really good voicemail message. And then if you don't get through, you'll sound like you were enthusiastic and prepared, and you increase the odds of getting a return call. The other thing you should do is write down that voicemail message, because if you use it 5 or 10 times, you will then be able to tell if it's working for you. If you've left the same message 10 times with 10 different people and no one has called you back, you have learned what does not work. Don't leave that message anymore. That's my 2 cents worth.
Fantastic. Mike, let me just add, working with you, I think the one biggest takeaway that I had from that is that you script everything. And when we first started working together, I thought that was excessive, but I have changed my opinion about that, over time and overthinking about it. And I script a heck of a lot more than I used to, having seen what you do and the results that you get.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you. All right. So, Mike Livezey.
Well, I get to be the middle both times here, huh?
I guess you do. Maybe we'll have
I guess the first thing that I would say that when you're preparing for a meeting is, what is the objective of this meeting? What do I hope to accomplish? Because if it's your first time going or talking to this person, I doubt, depending on what you're selling, that it's going to be a deal that you're going to close. Happens, but probably not. So what is my objective? And then I would say that prepare an agenda. Like you talk about lists, prepare an agenda of what you want to go over. You may not get to go over everything, but you have everything there in front of you, so you're not leaving something out that could be pertinent to the call. And then I think that Dave said that research the company or the person, know who you're talking to, and then find out a little bit about their industry as well. So those would be some of the things that I would say that you really should do as you're preparing for a sales call.
Excellent. Thank you. Brad Harris?
I would say one big thing we do here is when we answer the phone or throughout our conversations, we smile. And it's hard to be negative when you're smiling. And so one of the big laughing factors is anyone that answers the phone has to be smiling when you answer the phone. And so try it, smiling. This is Brad Harris. When you smile or Brad Harris, there's an inflection difference. And so, positive, happy dialect and tone is important. But I would say, your question is, what techniques help you prepare? I think that most of our sales calls are calling about aircraft, and it's either calling to ask if an aircraft is for sale, or if we're calling to see if there is, an opportunity to help broker a plane, or depending on what it is. But I think my kid, what's your objectives? But then the thing that we do is pull up every resource, and most of our sales calls are on the phone, and very few are in person. So I want to talk to a phone sales call, if you will, but pull up every resource. What we do is pull up every resource that we have. For example, JetNet is a database, much like an MLS for buying and selling a home. So it has every owner, every aircraft, everything about that. But whatever person we're calling, if it's XYZ company, we're going to pull up their website. We're going to research their website. We're going to know who we're talking to. And this really is more for a cold call, if you will, not someone that we know. If it was someone we knew, it'd be a lot different. And so, prepare yourself on what your objectives are, smile throughout the conversation, and then have every resource. When he says, oh yeah, well, we have this Citation XLS Plus, and we go, well, yeah, we see that you bought it on December the 23rd of 2011, and we see that you operate your airplane, and we see you go to Boston, and we see you go to Chicago, and we see you go to Fort Lauderdale. Now he knows that we've done some research on him. We talk a little bit about his company, but a person doing a sales call, if you can display that you know who they are, you make it more personal, and as opposed to just a blank sheet where you don't really have an agenda and you don't know who you're talking to, and it becomes very cold. You want to get intimate quick, and so once you're intimate and they know what they have and what they're about, then and where they've been, and they'll warm up to you a little bit more, and your success is better, if you will.
Perfect sense, and that's why you guys are always so smart when we talk to them, or always sound so smart, is because they have all that data pulled up ahead of time. So, Dan, I know you've got, at least you've helped us out with a lot of things for this.
Sure. Well, I appreciate what Brad and a few others have said about an agenda or an objective for the meeting. And in Sandler, we use a term called an upfront contract, which is basically upfront agenda or an upfront agreement. Before even having that meeting, you're having a conversation on the phone as to what's going to happen, what their expectations are, what your expectations are, what the time is for the meeting, and really the big picture, what's the agenda and purpose of the meeting. And then also having mutual buy-in where the client's agreeing that, this is just a discovery conversations. I think a lot of times during meetings, prospects are ready for a big sales pitch or a big presentation. And much like a doctor, you can't really accomplish anything unless you ask questions and find out what their pain is. We're really big on people buy emotionally and they justify those decisions intellectually. One of the things that really helps prepare for a call, a technique that I like to use, is a homework assignment. So when you're setting an appointment to meet with somebody, or you have a something on the schedule to sit down and meet with them, is giving them a homework assignment. And one thing that I like to use is we use a survey. And on the survey, it lists a bunch of problems that we solve for clients, but it's not listed in features and benefits, and it's not a huge brochure. It's just a very simple form that they fill out that they can identify what their current sales challenges are or what their current management problems are. And we ask them that before we meet, please fill out the survey and send it back to us. And that way before the sales call, I can sit down and I can say, all right, these are the current challenges or issues that this company is dealing with, and we can focus our conversation on those issues. And in some situations, it just doesn't work, or someone is unable to do that. So I think the second technique that's been really helpful is researching that company, what types of problems you can solve in that industry, and then researching what kind of questions can I ask that prospect to get them to tell me that problem. And so it's almost like you're mining for gold or you're metal detecting, where you're going through a series of questions and you ask them something and they say, no, that's not an issue here, not a problem, didn't think it was. You're asking your next question, but you're searching for what are the current challenges, headaches, issues, frustrations that they have that you can talk to them about. And at that point, and only at that point, can you really have a basis for doing business if there's a emotionally compelling reason that they would want to work with you in the first place. And so big picture is a homework assignment or writing out a list of questions you can ask them to help identify or help the prospect discover what their current challenges or issues are.
Fantastic. Thank you. I hope people are writing some of these things down, because this is stuff that Sandler charges a lot of money for. And, some of these tips really will make a huge difference.